Don't let your kids' toys take over your entire home.
Just maybe a little bit of it. Molly Riehl is getting tips and tricks on how to keep an organized playroom this morning. Do tell, Molly.
Yeah, this is definitely some tips that I'm going to be paying attention to because my 5-month-old can't even crawl yet, and his nursery or playroom is a mess, which means it's my fault. So Tidy with Trista Beville, organizing expert. You have 3 tips to keeping a playroom organized. And I just want to tell you, I did ask her, does it always look like this? Your answer?
No, because my kids actually live here.
But she said with these tips, it's easy to get your playroom to this place.
Yes, exactly. And that's the point, right? We don't want it to be perfect all the time, but we want to make it perfect quickly, or tidier quickly.
Tidier, yes, yes. With kids, perfection is hard to reach, but, but we can get tidy. So what's your first tip?
Okay, so first I want to preface it that not everyone has this setup, which is totally fine. The tips I'm going to give you will apply to wherever your toys are kept in your home. And a reminder, we always start with decluttering before we organize. So we want to make sure you go through your kids' toys to get rid of anything that they're not playing with, or maybe something that's not age appropriate, because less is best with kids. I mean, really for all of us, right? But less is best, especially with kids. Okay, so tip number 1, we want to group our toys into smaller categories whenever possible. I know we all love those big cube organizers because they're great, you can just throw it in, but when it comes to trying to find what they're looking for and also cleanup time, it typically just gets dumped all over the floor, which creates just a huge mess. So separating the categories whenever possible is great. So we have, like here, we have our trains separated from our train tracks. Yes, this could all go in a huge bin, but now if they want to find their trains, they're separate, easier to find, easier to put away. Another example are Barbie dolls. So if you have Barbie dolls, we love to separate the dolls from the clothes and accessories, from the furniture if you have it, just to make it easier for them to find what they're looking for to play with, and then easier to put away. Now, I understand not everyone has this setup. We love this system from IKEA, but you could use a simple shoe bin. Just put a label on it. I recommend clear so your kiddos can see what's in there, and really just stack the categories wherever you keep your toys in your home.
I'm thinking too, like that categorization probably helps a little bit with brain development and organizing and things like that.
Even my 2-year-old, she knows where the cars go because it's just consistency. Yeah, and then, okay, tip number 2 with that is accessibility. So my kids are 2 and almost 6. So I want to promote independent play, which means they don't need me to play, right? Because I don't have all the time to do that. I love them, but you know, they want to play on their own. So we want to make sure that whatever is safe for them to play with is accessible and within reach. Now I do have, you know, like toys with smaller pieces and, you know, messy crafts up higher so that they need to ask me for that. But if it's safe for them to play without direct supervision, we want it to be accessible for them. And now that it's in the smaller categories, they can find what they're looking for and they can play with that specific toy. All right, and then the last one, I know this is for you parents. This is gonna be a little bit harder for you, but I promise it'll be worth it. So we want to make sure that we incorporate the cleanup as part of the playtime. So a lot of times it's like, oh, we play and then clean up. Those are separate. We wanna think of play as you get the toy out, you play with it, and then you clean it up. And that is one event. And that's just gonna take consistent training with mom and dad. Ideally, we play with one toy. When we're done, we clean it up, put it away, get the next one. I understand that's not gonna happen, but what we wanna do is eliminate the overwhelm that happens when all the toys are out and then and you can't see the floor and it becomes a mess. It's just a disaster. So making sure that we incorporate the cleanup. We already have it accessible so they can do it themselves, and they're grouped into smaller categories so it's easy for them to know where it goes. So hopefully that'll help keep your playtime tidy.
Yeah. And when in doubt, add a song, right?
Yes.
Clean up, clean up.
Everybody knows that song. Yeah.
Tidy with Trista, thank you so much. I am going to actually use these. I'll send it back to you guys.